Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh, shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov. That was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. This is a two-parter for this week. We have one coming up in the future, as you will find out. But make sure to stay updated with Twitter, Instagram, OO_podcast20 on Instagram, OO_podcast on Twitter. So that's what we got. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that is appreciating the return of his judge.
I have to. He's a very good player, and the Yankees are much worse without him.
Yes, that's very true. But today we're going to talk about reasons for success and failure in the AL. So we just have a reason why we did this together, and because it took a while to figure it out, and we'll just go. Why is this team doing so well? Why is this team doing so bad? Or why are they in between? And we'll start with the AL West. Rangers, this one we all agree on this, but it's pretty obvious. The Rangers starting pitching. They do have a great offense, but the main reason has been their starting pitching. Their relief pitching stinks. But when your starters are going 7 innings, allowing less than 3 runs, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and what Gray and Evaldi have done has really shown that this team is much more deep than a lot of people initially thought. Many people thought that DeGrom was going to be headlining that starting pitching room, but now with him injured, they're still performing well. And that really, again, it shows their depth.
Yeah, and it is a good thing to say they're doing this without DeGrom. And I think the key thing of DeGrom is he's that ace. He's, when healthy, one of the best pitchers. These guys are just playing out of their minds, but DeGrom's just on a different level. But I just want to add that one thing because it's something I'm enjoying. And I think Heaney's been playing well, and Cody Bradford also did pretty well. And not in his first game, but his second game. But that really helped them get some rest for their starters.
Yeah, and it's really crazy how much improvement we've seen out of those guys.
Yes, very exciting. Won't spend too much more time on it. Now we'll get to the Astros. We have a slow start. They're starting to heat up, and I do think they'll take over the AL West lead. But I just think it took them a while, but now they're starting to heat up.
Yeah, and injuries are part of the reason why they had a slow start, but not all the reason. And I think maybe that layover from winning a World Series is probably part of the reason, along with the injuries. And now we've seen them kind of turn a new leaf, and now they're playing very well.
Yeah, now we get to the Angels, Trout and Ohtani. This is the reason why they're so high, but also they're low because it's only Trout and Ohtani.
Yeah, the Trout and Ohtani effect is real, and they would not be above 500 without him.
Yeah, they just need other supporting cast members, which they can never find. Even though they try. Like, they tried it with Anthony Rendon. He has not really panned out. So.
Yeah, Rendon's been playing better this year, but it is Trout and Ohtani, their effect on the Angels cannot be over-exaggerated.
Yes. Now we go to the Mariners. Poor hitting. I thought this hitting would be better, but it only seems to be only a few guys that are hitting well.
Yeah, and this is a team that I expected more out of after making their first playoff appearance in 17 years. they're not in a position to do it this year at this point. And part of that's because of Robbie Ray, a former AL Cy Young winner, is hurt, but also uh, just as you mentioned, poor hitting has really doomed them this early in the year.
Yeah. And now we get to the Oakland A's or the Las Vegas A's. That's the reason. Las Vegas, they really have not been playing well. And they're more focused on a new destination than their current roster.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all the players have already moved their houses to Vegas.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll talk more about. I don't think that's going to work out, but we'll see. Now we go to the AL Central. Twins starting pitching. They have had some incredible starters. Pablo Lopez has slowed down, as you mentioned before we recorded, but Castillo's been incredible, and I'll let you talk more about it.
Yeah, and their starting pitching has really been a catalyst, something that really struggled last year, and that's why we'll get to the Marlins eventually. But the connection between the Marlins and Twins is evident after the Luis Arias for Pablo Lopez trade, and both of them have really worked out for both teams. And the Twins have gotten an influx of energy and effectiveness from those starters, and that could be the difference, especially when you pitch so many innings with your starters already. Getting guys like Sonny Gray, who's having a Cy Young start to the year. Joe Ryan is playing incredible, and same with Bailey Ober. It's looking positive for them for the future.
Yeah, and now we go to the Tigers, who I'm surprised are at number 2. But now we go to the great managing is the reason.
Yeah, and they are not getting a vintage Miggy performance. He has really struggled to start his final year of his career, but coaching is what's done it. Javi Baez struggled at the beginning of the year and then had a good stretch for a while because of changes that AJ Hinch made. Pitching is getting better. It's all just looking positive, and the fact that they are second in this division really shows that.
Yeah. And now we go to Cleveland, lack of offense. They have great pitching, but they only have Jose Ramirez, and it seems alike to be a lot of one-run games.
Yeah, there's definitely been a high amount of one-run games that they play in, and the fact that they can't win those games is really evident of how bad their pitching has gone. They lost the other day 2-1 against St. Louis. They lost 2-1 against the Mets. They lost 5-4 against the Mets as well. They lost 10-9 to the Mets. They're losing a lot of games by one run. In fact, the majority of their games they've lost are by one run. And if they had better hitting, they wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah. Now we go to White Sox, a loss of identity. Pitching doesn't seem to be well. Lance Lynn seems to be finding it, but it just seems like the window is closed.
Oh, it is almost slammed shut at this point, because I really have to wonder what we need to expect from this team, because everyone coming out of a couple years ago was saying how much and how much they were going to win and how good they were going to be in the future, but that just isn't what it's been like. They just have struggled to continue it, and all their young players that were supposed to be so great and so good have ultimately struggled and have lost their identity, and that's really what we see here.
Yeah, and now moving on to the Kansas City Royals, where this one's pretty quick. They're preparing for the future. That's why they just stink.
Yeah, they haven't won many games, and I think it's a testament to where they are as a team. They're preparing for the future, but their top 2 WAR players are Salvador Perez and Zach Greinke. So Zach Greinke is the only starter who's pitched at least 10 games, and his ERA is below 7, Kevin.
Oh my goodness. That is,
Yeah.
ooh, wow, that's stinky. Actually, kind of
Yeah.
rhymes.
Say again.
That actually kind of rhymed with Granky and Stinky.
Oh yeah, it does rhyme. That's good.
That's the only good thing about Kansas City. I guess the storylines. But now we get to the Rays or in the AL East. Top of lineup has just been incredible. Is it Franco Lowe? Is Diaz up there too?
Yep, Diaz and Rosarena. Those guys have been dominant, and it's shown by their great record.
Yeah, they've been dealing with injuries, but it's just incredible. So, yeah, it's an incredible story. We'll see if they can keep it up. Now we go to the Orioles. Everything just coming together. Pitching is okay, but man, that bullpen is incredible. Yanir Cano, he still hasn't walked anyone, correct?
I don't believe he has. I know he finally gave up a run,
Okay.
but Unicordo has been amazing. After last year, no, he has walked one person.
Oh, wow.
I just checked. But last year, his ERA was 11.5, and this year it's 0.68.
That's incredible. But yeah, and of course they're hitting. They have a young mix of a little bit older players and younger players coming up.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I mean, more guys in their bullpen like Felix Bautista, who's maybe the best closer in the game right now. It's just so dominant.
Yeah. And now Yankees injuries. Well, you mentioned Judge is back, but pitching staff. That's the reason why I believed in them was their pitching staff, but everyone seems to be injured.
Yeah, Carlos Rodon, Frankie Montas. Severino's finally back, but he was out for a while. Lou Trevino is out for the year. Ian Hamilton's on the IL even after he had a great start. Josh Donaldson is on a rehab assignment. Same thing with Giancarlo Stanton. Injuries have always plagued the Yankees since I've watched them, but this year is a different animal.
Now, moving on to a team. We talked about the bullpen with the Orioles. This team is just relying on their bullpen. Their starting pitching has been abysmal, and then that's the Red Sox.
Yeah, and they have a positive record, 28 and 24, and they've gotten some good hitting, not great hitting, but just their relievers. Whenever a game is close, you can put in their top relievers, and they will get you great innings, great production. And Kelly Jansen finally hit 400 saves.
Yes, that is true. Now, moving on to the Blue Jays, lackluster pitching in general. Kevin Gausman is the best pitcher right now. Last year was Alek Manoah. He is struggling. The trade for Jose Barrios has not worked out yet. And their hitting's okay, but it's the pitching.
Yeah, and we expected so much more from a team that obviously made a playoff. Oh, they didn't. Did they even win a game? Did they win a game?
No, I thought they were
Did they get swept?
leading against the Mariners. Or didn't the Mariners sweep them? No, they blew a big lead. That's what they did.
Yeah, they got swept. They lost in 3 games, or they lost in 2 because it was the best out of 3 in the wild card, and so they got swept. They lost both games, but in the second game at home. Oh wait, no! All the games were at home in the wild card. Wow, they lost back-to-back games at home. In the second game, they were up like 7-0.
Yes, and they blew it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna shed a tear for them. I cheered, but wow, that was a quick video, quick reasons, but still got right to the point. Let us know what you think, and we'll keep you updated. And make sure to look out for the next one about the NL. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.